Hi everyone, I'm going to participate in a tag that's been floating around, a vinyl tag, 20 questions. Seems like a lot of fun. I've been watching a lot of people's responses. So please join in if you don't know about the vinyl tag. Hopefully I can inspire you also, some of you who watch my channel, to participate. I always like answering the various 20 question tags and things like that, but at the same time it can be very daunting because you have to go into your collection, dig out all kinds of records, go through the whole thing, and then I get a little crazy because there's some questions that I'm not 100% sure what the answers are. For example, one of the questions would be, what is an impulse buy that you've made? I mean, I've made hundreds of impulse buys. Which one is the most, the best one that could be contained for this video? So I wound up going through a lot of these, and even though I don't have answers specifically for every one of them, because I want it to be right, I want it to be exactly right. If somebody wants to know what the first record was I ever bought, I wish I had a specific answer, and that drives me crazy. But let's go, and here's 20 questions. The first question is, how many records do you own? And that's, again, I don't have them on a database. I haven't counted them, but what I did was I went through all these cubes here and counted the amount plus what I have on the floor that has to be filed yet, and I estimate at least 2,000 records, probably more like 2,500, something like that. I'm somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 records, and that's very upsetting in a way. So we're all trying to cut down. So that's just for albums. I mean, 45s, I have no idea. Hundreds of 45s. Okay, second question. What kind of record player do you have? Well, when I first got back into collecting vinyl in 2011, I wanted a new turntable. So I went out and ordered the, I can't remember the make of it now. It's in the other room. I don't use it right now. It's an Audio-Technica. I don't know if it's a 120 or whatever it is. And I still have that. It's in beautiful shape. But the thing is, I wasn't really satisfied with it because ultimately I like to have an automatic, if not an automatic start with the needle, I like to at least have an automatic shut off. I don't like getting up and having to worry that the record is in, the needle is in the dead wax. So once the stylus gets in there, I start getting uptight. So I now have an Onkyo. The model is Onkyo CP1010A. as an Apple. So 1010A, CP1010A Onkyo. It's a used turntable, but it has the automatic shut-off, automatic return that I like so much. Now, here's like another question that's a little rough. How old were you when you first started collecting records? Number 3. Well, I'm going to say I first got into records without a doubt when I was 3 years old, and my mother tells me all kinds of stories, and I remember very vividly too, being 3, 4, 5, 6 years old and being obsessed with records. And then I collected records as I got older, but I think the fair answer here is, because I had gone off records, I stopped collecting records for a long period of time as an adult, and I would say that probably October of 2011 is when I started collecting records again officially. So I'm going to really say it's over 5 years. This October will be 6 years that I've been collecting records again. That's how I've amassed this present collection. So really, I've collected records at different points through my life, but I've never been as much of a serious collector, I don't think, as I've been in the last 5 years, 6 years. Okay, here's one of those questions that was tough. Number 4, what is the oldest record you have in your collection? You see, I get like really anal about it because I want it to be specific. I want it to be correct. I don't want it to be an estimate. So, but this is the best I could do. I might even have records older than these. I don't know. But here's a Bing Crosby 78 collection. My research tells me that this Merry Christmas came out in 1945. So this is probably the oldest that I have. Christmas 78's in here, but right along the same line, I have this, which I think is Frank Sinatra's first 78 album collection. It's called The Voice of Frank Sinatra, and this says 1946. So we have that. And then I found this, which I can't find an exact date on it. It's Al Jolson, a 78 collection. This might even be a little earlier in the 40s. So 1940s are probably the oldest records that I have. This is the best I could do. So Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, what is the first record you ever got? Now, it's interesting. I like the way that question is phrased, the first record you ever got, because I don't really have the answer. I don't know what the first record I ever got was. It could have been anything, you know, because, you know, when you're 3, 4 years old, you don't remember. That's the kind of question that drives me crazy. But I did rack my brain, and I came up with some memories. Now, one of the first albums I ever got was given to me was Meet the Beatles, the U.S. album. No surprise. I was like probably 3 years old, 2, 3 years old. I mean, 4 years old. And I remember I did draw on the covers and things like that, like a lot of kids do, unfortunately. But this is not, of course, the first copy of that. This is not the original copy that I had, Meet the Beatles. I was told that I had an uncle. My mother used to tell me, you had an uncle, you know, I remember who he was, used to buy me my first Beatle records. That's what she said, you know, Uncle Johnny bought you your first Beatle records. So he probably bought me a bunch of them. I had a bunch of them as a child, you know, I don't remember which one was the exact first. And I had a lot of the 45s too. Now, you know, who bought these, whether it was my mother, or whether it was my father, whether it was a relative. A lot of people bought me records, I guess. But I do definitely remember this 45 picture sleeve. I had a lot of Beatles 45s, and I had this one. It was new. This is, again, is not the original copy. I don't have any of my originals. But this was a Nowhere Man 45 sleeve. I definitely had this back in the day hanging around the house, and I remember it very vividly. And a couple of reasons is because, first of all, you had John here. The way this picture's cropped makes it look like he's a quarterback or something, which is kind of weird. I don't know what's up with that cropping. And Ringo here always looked like the poor soul, poor Ringo, you know, a little kid, forgotten Ringo. He felt sorry for him. And I remember that very much. So those are some of my earliest memories of the first records I ever got. Now it gets more specific with the next question. What is the first record you ever bought with your own money? Now, again, that's the kind of question that drives me nuts because I can't pinpoint it. These are not going to be 100% accurate, but I'll do the best I can. I know in the early 70s, 1970, 71, 72, around that period, I used to buy a lot of 45s at my record store, and they were all what you might call 70s Have a Nice Day. You know, see those CD compilations, super hits of the 70s, things like Indian Reservation by the Raiders, things like Dragging the Line by Tommy James. I remember having My Sweet Lord by George Harrison on a 45 as a kid when it came out. But did I actually buy these with my own money? Then again, the question comes up, what is your own money, quote? I mean, I'm not working yet. I'm only like 9 years old, 10 years old. It's more like asking Grandma, hey, Grandma, can I have like $5 to go down and buy some records? And she, sure, goes in your purse and gives it to you. So is it really your own money? I don't know. As we get into 1975, some of the albums, I definitely remember when I was about 13 buying this, John Lennon's Shaved Fish compilation, and also from that same year, Ringo's Blast from Your Past hits compilation. These, again, not the original copies. None of these are original copies from the day. But these were two albums I remember going to the store. I took a train ride to get to the store to buy these, and they were new. So that's among my first purchases that I actually remember. You know, how I got the money, you know, I don't know. But that's the first ones. Okay, next question was, what's your favorite colored vinyl? Unlike a lot of people here, I actually like colored vinyl. I mean, the sound's not great, but I like colored vinyl. I don't go out of my way to collect it, but when I can get colored vinyl, I like it. I like different color schemes and things. It's hard, again, to pick the exact... I got a lot of colored vinyl in here. I don't know. I can't think right now which is my very favorite, but I pulled this 10-inch record out. This is a 10-inch, again, Beatles. It's not all going to be Beatles, folks. Just wait as we go along. Other artists here, too. But this one here, pretty wild. Look at that. That just may be my favorite colored vinyl. I think it's the rarest one out of all these different colors they have here for this record. You know, blue, orange, yellow for this. I think that this particular one might be the rarest. Okay, so that's a favorite colored vinyl. The next question, number 8, is, what is a discount album that you got? And when it says discount album, I assume it means something you got at a good price, a steal, or something like that. I couldn't really think of the definitive one as far as something I bought in the store, but I did think immediately of this one, which is something I got a few years ago at a flea market, and it was one of the greatest finds I ever had. This is a soundtrack album to a movie called The Andromeda Strain. And I found it at the flea market. It's a very interesting, unusual album. I'll show it to you in a minute. It's unusually shaped. You can see the back here. This goes for big bucks. When I saw it, I didn't realize that it was, some guy had it in a pile of old crusty records, and I didn't realize how valuable it was. I never saw it before. I've never seen it since. I never see this album anywhere in the wild. And I basically tried to get him down. I think his records, he was asking $5 each for them. And I don't haggle very much, especially I don't haggle a poor guy trying to sell old records at a, flea market. I said, well, will you take $3 for it? And he gave it to me for $3, which, had I known the value of this, I would have gave him the $5. Hell, I would have gave him $10 had I known the value. I found out after the fact. But anyway, let's get to the record, because this record is really cool. This opens up here to show photos from the movie. It's hard to really do it here. Inside the record, wait till I show you the record. For those of you that don't know, it's a hexagon-shaped kind of record. And it's a very, very novel kind of thing here. It says here, warning, due to the unusual shape of this record, only use manual control on the record player or needle damage will result. That's what it says there, which is pretty cool. And that's the shape of the record, folks. And what a great find this was. I want to steal it was, because this is like at least $100 or so online. And you just play, you can see that it's really a circular record with just extra edges to it. But this is one of the best discounts that I ever got. If you want to look at it as a discount. I'm going to put this safely on the side here. Okay, now number 9. What is your prized possession? Well, my prized possession is not a record. It's a Paul McCartney autograph. But since we're talking about records here, again, I don't really know for sure, but I picked this, the Beatles versus the Four Seasons. It's a tough record to find in decent shape. This one's in pretty decent shape. It's not a stereo copy. Stereo copy is more rare. There's only about 750 or so copies of the stereo made. But this is probably one of my most prized possessions right now. Okay, number 10. Show a record by a female artist. Well, I mean, I love female artists. I mean, sometimes I buy just a pretty girl, I'll give it a shot. But there's hundreds of female artist records here, but I just went with this one. Very beautiful Linda Ronstadt, back in her prime, and Silk Purse. So that's the one I'm showing for that. Okay, show a record by your favorite band. Oh, gee, well, who could that be? My favorite band. Now, I'm going to open this one up. Give me I figured I'd look for something unusual. It's a Beatles record, and this is an Italian record called Aiuto, which is really music from the film Help. I've always loved this front cover. It's not an original, it's a reissue that I was lucky to find. There's a gatefold, but I'm going to also use the vinyl to go back to favorite colored vinyl. Remember the question, favorite colored vinyl? Well, this is one of my favorite colored vinyls of all of them. I just like that color. There's a little bit of black in here. It's kind of a mahogany, purplish, kind of reddish, mahogany-ish. And it's got, of course, the old style label from Parlophone on it. So I really love this cover. Even though it's not original, I had to have this. It's in beautiful shape, obviously. Went right into the outer sleeve. All right, let's go right to the next question. Okay, this was fun. It said, what is an impulse buy that you've had? okay, that you made, an impulse buy. I make tons of impulse buys. That's part of the problem with me and my collection. And a lot of collectors out there, I'm sure, can completely agree. We just do too many impulse buys. Got to have this, got to try that. And as I was filing through my records, I said, wow, I found this, folks, this has got to be the number one. I got lucky. The number one most impulse buy that I ever made. And I just happened to find it as I was going through the records. It's a Tony Orlando record called Bless You. And that's before he got together with Dawn. And this is him solo, without the mustache and his trademark look, the longer hair and stuff. Haven't played. I remember playing it at my record store a couple of years ago when I picked it up. This is from 2015. It says the tag here, 2015. I got it for like $2 and change. But I'm gonna give this a shot at some point. Believe me, I am. You know, I'm still making my first time spins videos, and I'm gonna get a lot of stuff on there. That was an impulse, all right. Okay, now number 13, a gift. What's a gift that you've received? I've received a lot of gifts, and a lot of them are VCLT, Vinyl Community Love Train, from people in the vinyl community. I don't want to leave anybody out. A lot of people have been very nice and sent me gifts over the last 5 years. But my number one, I got to say, who sent me the most is Mr. Eli Records in Israel. And he sent me many records, God bless him. And this one here is the one I decided to show. It's an Israeli copy of Magical Mystery Tour, and fans will instinctively know right away it's green instead of the yellow, which I think is absolutely fabulous. And there's the back cover. I actually, you know, I welcome all this writing on it because it's unique to me. And I really appreciate this among many gifts that Eli sent me. Actually, he only sent me, I only have the cover for this. There's no record here. He sent it as a bonus gift along with other records that have the discs in them. So that's a gift I always treasure. Now, what's your most played record? Well, I'm going to cheat just for this one because it's not a record. It's a CD. I mean, I definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the disc that I spin the most here is this CD. I always show this whenever the opportunity comes up, and I always say the same dialogue, too. It's a soundtrack to the movie The Omega Man, science fiction film from 1971. I have really great memories of going into the theater to see this as a boy, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and it's just really good. I play this in the car regularly. This gets regular spins for me, without a doubt. It's easy to listen to. I love it. Brings back good memories and better times for me, and as a result, this is easily the most spinned item in my collection, no doubt about it. Let's see, next question. Show a rarity. What's a rarity that you have? Well, I went with this fairly recent acquisition. This is Elvis Presley's first Christmas record from 1957. It is very rare, and the reason it's rare is because it is in mint condition. You can't find this album in mint condition. Looks like it was just made yesterday. And what makes it extra special is this tag here. This is a gift tag that came along, and you can't find these gift tags anymore. That went along for Christmas. You would put who the gift was from on there with the song listing. You just can't find this anymore, and I paid big bucks for this. And out of all the records in my collection, if there was a question here, number 21, if I could add, what is your most expensive record, this would be it. Okay. Don't worry, nobody's getting in here. So, you know, nobody. But anyhow, so that's that. All right, let's go to the next one as we get up to, so we're 20 minutes away. I'm sorry, folks. What's a rainy day? What's a rainy day record? I don't really have a record I play on a rainy day, but immediately I thought of John Lennon's first album, Plastic Ono Band, which is very grim and depressing. It's a masterpiece. By the way, there's a rare version with a hard-to-find white sticker on the back. It's just gloomy, depressing, letting all your problems out. Of course, the next question was, what's a feel-good album you have? A feel-good, upbeat, positive album. And You know, it's funny. The first thing that came to mind, maybe there were better albums than this for this answer, but I went with this 2016 album, The Monkees' Good Times, which was released, a real happy, upbeat album. And this album is an album, I think, that I am going to play every time we get rid of this horrible winter and the summer starts. Because right now, folks, we got uncharacteristic 62-degree weather today, and then it's going to turn cold tonight, and tomorrow we're going to get a blizzard. Okay? I hate winter, so this is my summer album. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Yeah, sing it! When you come around, you bring the summer. Yeah! So, that's it. All right, next question. How about a nostalgic album? I didn't know exactly what was meant by that, but I went with this. I mean, this is a Brady Bunch album that I have. I watched the Brady Bunch. I grew up on the Brady Bunch, among other shows in the 70s. And if this isn't nostalgic, I don't know what is. Well, I do know one that is, and here's another nostalgic album. It's Planet of the Apes. I love the Planet of the Apes film series, and this is nostalgic in two ways, because I love the movie, number one, but also because I had this album back in the day. This is like one of the earliest albums I had. So it's nostalgic in both ways. We're getting to the end here. Number 19, a record store day purchase. I made a number of record store day purchases. I'm going to show this one here. See the record store day sticker? We got Joan Jett's album Sinner. Joan Jett has been very, very good about this. She's been putting out a lot of good albums that have never been on vinyl before on all the record store days, and I'm really appreciative of that. The last one here is show a recent purchase, and not only is this a recent purchase, but it's a fairly recent artist. It's I pronounce her name Elle King. I heard tracks off this album, like it a lot. I still haven't played the whole thing yet. Look for that in a first time spins coming up eventually. Yeah, so that's a recent purchase. I love her singing style. And that's it, everybody. Thank you so much, and I hope to see your vinyl tags.